I got insider details from a comp player that was flown down to Atlanta, Florida to get their hands-on experience with college football 25. Now, today's video is just explaining to you guys what he explained to me just from a gameplay perspective for comp players. So we're not explaining anything about the game modes and details of that sort. It's just gameplay detail focus in today's video. I asked him if it's a complete reskin of Madden. He said absolutely not, but you're going to have times where it does feel like it and or look as a reskin of Madden, just different cosmetic look. But he says overall, as speed gameplay, you can tell the difference between college football and Madden. So to me, that's like a tweak setting when it comes to how fast you want the game or how slow you want the game to play, like how we had it in the past when they had that in the settings option. The next thing I asked him was that, can you actually separate the skill gap difference between a good player and a bad player? He says, now the biggest difference that you can tell is of course the type of program team that you choose, because the ratings are such a big separation. So for instance, bigger program schools have much better players based off ratings. So of course you're going to see a bigger difference in that category alone based off team usage. He says it's kind of like Madden, where you can use OP teams based off X Factor player abilities, but overall as a team you don't really see a big separation from bad to worse teams, because in Madden you can still use worse teams to compete. He said that's a big difference. Now, as far as play style based off, knowledge of the player and how they play, are they a cheesy player or are they just a ask coach run whatever play type of player? He then goes on to say, if your opponent has like the same type of tier program school to compete with and he's not a cheesy player, he's still going to be able to dominate in a way. But he said you can actually tell who's a cheesy player and not. And I asked him, is that a factor when it comes to competing? Do these like non-cheese players still have a chance to compete against people that do cheat in the game with exploits, glitches, nano blitzes, and things of that sort when it comes to comp play? He then goes to say, to an extent, yes, in a way. So, he sent me this footage, which you guys are seeing, between Jags and Philadelphia. This is his gameplay footage. So this is a good example of what he's trying to preach to an extent. So he says, outside of comp and the cheesiness that you know of, when it comes to football knowledge, you're still going to have those people that's not really football knowledgeable, able to have moments like you're about to see. So he says, this guy's been running a scheme for the Eagles. It's 1 to 2 plays. It's nothing really hard to stop, but because the gameplay is so trash, it goes to show that this guy can get anything in his favor. So he says he knows that this guy's going to run on 3rd and 1 situation, because if he gets a stop with the Jags, the game's pretty much over. Now he knows that out of this formation is not inside run, it's an outside run zone play. So he's going to run commit. He has his cornerback on the right side, and watch what the cornerback does. He doesn't attack while run committing to the middle. He said in college football 25, you're still going to have moments like that where the football knowledge is there, but the gameplay just doesn't really sync up. And when he said that to me, I was like, oh, that hurts to hear. Then he goes on to say that comp is comp. You're still going to have those Madden-like moments, the cheesiness, the schemes where people just run the same plays back and forth, back and forth. And he said that's just how everybody competes in general. And I said, well, because the gameplay, it's completely different, right? He said, yes, to an extent, because it matches college football. It matches the speed style. But overall, when it comes to competing, you got, comp players going head to head, you're going to have that, reskin factor of what we have for years with Madden. I then go to ask him about why hasn't these game changer content creators that's in the program for EA, why can't they show gameplay all they have done was say that they had their hands-on experience and they was able to play the game, and they're just talking about it instead of showing gameplay footage. He said it's pretty much a marketing thing that EA does, and they also have to reassure what information they're going to put out, and of course make everything mostly positive. So they have to send them video footage, let them see how the video is going to be, and before they release it, making sure that it's in a positive standing. I was like, that makes sense. But he also says he's not sure if they're able to release gameplay footage, and if they are able to, it should be coming in the next couple of days. So he wasn't too sure of that yet. But he says that it's all basically a marketing strategy that they have always done. He then goes to say what pissed him off is that they always preach that it's early access gameplay footage or early build of the game. He says that's complete bullshit. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. And that brought to me is when I was playing the beta for Madden, showcasing it, and of course got my channel taken down because you're not supposed to do that. I pretty much preached the same thing. It was what you see, what you get. Like when I showed the introductions for the teams for, I believe it was Madden 24, you saw the same thing when the actual game came out. And of course, some gameplay, you saw pretty much what you see, what you get from what he was saying. And I totally get where he comes from. And then he goes to say that because people say that, of course, it's going to make these people believe that, oh, the game's going to be completely different when the actual game comes out. Which he then brings to my attention. He said, you remember that Patrick Mahomes fucking dive passing animation that we was seeing in the Madden 24 beta and how OP it was? He said, the only difference that you see from the beta to the actual release of the game is tweaking, which if they see something completely broken or OP or abusive, they're going to try their best to limit the amount of whatever case it may be. And he said in this case for Madden 24, it was that Patrick Mahomes throwing animation. He said every time you ran outside the numbers, right when you got to the outside of the numbers and you're throwing on the run with Patrick Mahomes or anybody in general, you're going to get that animation. He said when the final game came out, you didn't see too much of that, or if anything, you didn't even see that animation done at all. And on top of that, the animation was only catered then to Patrick Mahomes to do that. I was like, oh, you on to something, my guy. That makes total sense. Because I experienced the same thing when I played the beta. And then when the final game came out, I seen that they pretty much took that out or limited it to Patrick Mahomes in general. But he said that's a perfect example of what you can do, a comparison from the beta to the, actual game release. Now, sorry that I kept you guys on the screenshot alone. This was the next big thing that I got into because I preached about this in a couple videos ago about the wear and tear system, which literally we got an update in Madden 24. And when the first update of this happened, it was like a test run. And then they had tweaked it a little bit because a lot of people complain about this fatigue system in the game, and it just broke in everything. And when they tried to tweak it back, it just broke the game completely. So the comp player, I asked him about this. He said, yeah, when it first was updated and shown in Madden 24, it was the best thing because it limited comp players to run this specific formation, and especially having DBs at linebacker and, comp players at cheese, they was able to stop anything, even in a run-heavy offensive set, because the DBs, they didn't get tired, they didn't get pancake block against, 250-pound linemen or so, and they're able to just instant shed and stop run. And they said EA pretty much had a test build to see how it would work when College Football 25 comes out. I was like, oh, I thought this was just a comp thing because, it was irritating playing people that ran the same defense, and it was like, bruh, I cannot run against a gap pass defense and my linemen should be able to pancake these guys. He said the initial update was the best thing before they try to retweak it back, and it just made the game terrible. But he says you will see a very similar aspect when they first updated the game, which will limit a lot of this stuff. So he said he had to completely change his play style and also, you know, try to sub in like personnel matching towards, whatever formations. He said this also goes for offense, but it seems like it doesn't work as much compared to what you have to do with compared to the defensive side. And I was like, I mean, I understand that, especially when it comes to the no huddle thing. And from a defensive standpoint, you want that kind of simulation factor. So he said this is really a big game changer that they focus on for the gameplay. So you see right here where he kind of flicks through substituting personnel and just trying to sub in anybody else to get fresh people into the game. He said, yeah, this is going to be in the game and it's well needed. I then go to ask him about the pass protection, line protection, just in the trenches gameplay. He said it's very well improved, but because it's faster pace, it's more kind of balanced with the type of pass rushing as well. So he says it kind of feels like Madden 21 in a way when it comes to the speed of the pass rush. Like it will get to you pretty quickly depending on, of course, the program difference, ratings. And he says the ratings is really going to stand out. It's going to make a big difference for the gameplay. Then I go and ask him about what about the coverages? Because as you guys see right here playing in the background, I ran the hard flats and the slot receiver ends up running a out route and my hard flat is there, but I mean he doesn't even play it. It's like he lurked the slant route and then he goes to play the out route when he should have just went straight for the out route because that's his hard flat assignment. He said, yeah, you're still going to have those moments where you have to manually adjust the zones and how they play and just adapt on the fly. Um, but he says, from a realistic standpoint, I mean, he gets where, you know, certain coverages just stock play, should play how they're supposed to play. And he says there's moments where just a little bit tweaking, it makes it play a little bit better. But if you're just a casual player, you will get frustrated from time to time because the zone there's still that issue when it comes to playing it. And he said, yeah, there's still exploits when it comes to route combinations that would glitch certain coverages. And he was still disappointed about that, but he said it's durable. It's not as bad as Madden, but he said for the limited time that he got to play and test, that he couldn't really get much out of it and see how much more or little improvement there was to this aspect. But he said just from, the running aspect, he said running is a complete improvement. It feels much better because he said they focus a lot on the option. Because at college in general has been such a fast-paced type of offense with air raid passing and having that option in, he said they really try to pinpoint back to that, and you're going to feel a big difference between, you know, running option college compared to Madden. Now he says there's like this type of option different pitches, like you can fast pitch, hard pitch, slow pitch, whatever the case, depending on how you press the button. He said it felt weird in a way, and you know he wasn't used to that. So he said that was the big difference when it comes to that. But he said he was blown away from that gameplay aspect. It made it feel completely different from Madden. I was like, I get that because when I used to play NCAA 14 competitively, all I used was Georgia Tech and Wishbone, and literally nobody can stop that. the way they done the option that game just it was beautiful. So to hear him say that for this college football 25, it makes me super hyped for it. But that's about it that talked to him about for college football 25. He said outside of that, just listening to the EA game changers, the content creators with their hands-on experience, and then hopefully um, when they're told from EA, you should be seeing gameplay in the next couple of days, or not. It'd probably be closer to a couple of days before release. And he says, um, all he can say is basically just be ready for college football 25 because it's what we've been waiting for. It's going to be a different experience, and he's looking forward to it. But he says overall, at times, you're going to have those Madden-like moments, reskin moments, especially when competing. He also goes into depth saying that for offline players in general, you're going to have probably the best experience gameplay-wise because you're getting the full cycle of all the things that they improve on, especially having that college atmosphere presentation. It says comp play, you're still going to have that traditional Madden-like comp play. You don't get to experience all the things that they've done within the offline experience. I was like, yeah, because that's what I'm going to be hella focused on because I'm stepping away from offline competing and I'm going to let you people that cheat and exploit the game enjoy that aspect and people running the same plays and things of that sort. Enjoy that mode. Enjoy the online experience mode. For me, I'm going to soak in this 11-year hiatus and enjoy offline experience and enjoy just every bit of the fucking atmosphere. And he said, yep, that's what I would do if I was you. I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, this was all coming from me asking a comp buddy of mine that was able to get his hands-on experience with college football 25, and I'm just trying to be real with you guys with somebody that's focused on gameplay, especially from the comp side. So, guess all we gotta do is wait till we get hands-on experience or see some gameplay. From this interview alone, I'm still skeptical, but of course, I'm hyped at the same time because obviously we're all going to get college football 25 regardless of what we hear from these content creators and things of that sort. So, just gotta wait and see. Um, I was still nervous about why didn't they show gameplay. So, yeah. Until next time, I'll see you guys later, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And I'm out. Peace.